These are the best Cold War maps ever made. Tuvong and Der Bunker are both BO3 custom zombies maps. Both are based on Cold War. And ironically, both are better than every single Cold War map. And today we're going to compare both maps and see which one is better. Tuvong, this custom map is set in Vietnam during 1985, which is a little bit after the Vietnam War, but it's still during the Cold War. But this map has a jam-packed Easter egg, tons of wonder weapons, and is really fun. So let's beat this map. I started off by extracting some points from these zombies. I then opened up the main map and then dropped down at this massive shaft where I then found the power switch. With power now on, I thought it was about time I fed my gambling addiction. And this time, I was able to pull the fucking death machine.
I'm gonna come.
Then, after that, I also pulled this other less cool looking gun. I don't know what it's called, the AK or some shit. It was pretty good.
What?
But after that, I then began the Pack-a-Punch quest by first jumping into this large body of water and collecting some coolant. I then had to put the coolant into two different generators that ran into the Pack-a-Punch machine. With Pack-a-Punch now open, I had to shoot this wisp atop the Pack-a-Punch machine. I then had to follow this wisp across the entire map. This eventually led me to the firing range. I then had to shoot the wisp around 20 times around the firing range.
Let me see your hands, you gorilla lover, banana Kool-Aid chicken lover.
After shooting every single target at the firing range, I was able to collect this keycode. I then used it on this door, which led me into this ominous looking laboratory. I then had to get the worst boss in Cold War into this glass box. This then started a lockdown, which was actually extremely easy. This may have been because I'm an actually good player, or because I had the fucking death machine in the AK. Once completed, I had to collect the Mimic's blood from this console, and then I had to put it into this machine that looks like a nuclear reactor. For the next step of the Easter egg, I have to craft up all 4 of this map's bows. And no, they are not the bows from the Rise and Draw Cup. These bows are completely custom, and they match the theme of this map, which is really sick. Before getting the variants of this bow, I first must craft up the main bow. I get the first piece after digging up 5 different piles across the map. I then get the second part after opening up Pack-a-Punch. I then get the third one by going to the firing range and picking it up off this table. Lastly, I craft up the bow in the underground submarine base. But it's now time to craft up some bows. I first collect a poison sample from these bales, and then I put the sample alongside with the bow inside this machine. I then get the poison bow, which is actually straight ass, and probably the worst bow, so I never actually use it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get.
On to the next bow. I first must collect this dry ice sample. I then have to put that sample into another machine, which gives me the ice bow. This bow is also quite ass, but at least it slows down the zombies. Next, I collect this TNT. I then put this TNT also into the machine, and I am given the explosive bow. This bow is probably the second best bow currently on this map. And lastly, I get this arc energy reactor and then put it inside the machine. This gives me the electric bow, and this bow may not be like the storm bow, but it is the best bow on this fucking map. After crafting each bow, I had to shoot 4 different wisps across the map, each corresponding with different elemental bows. After that, I then have to collect this harvesting container, I then have to put it on this white wisp at spawn. I then have to fill that thing up with souls. Once filled up, I then had to take the container and then bring it all the way back down underground to the nuclear fission reactor. I then had to put it inside and then was given 2 minutes to go down and grab some coolant, aka water. Once I got the water, I brought it back, and this initiated a lockdown sequence, which again was extremely fucking easy. After that, I then had to go back to the war room where I then had to launch the missile. Once I launched the missile, I was teleported back to spawn and was able to witness the missile actually launching. Then, once it exploded, I was given a free perkaholic, and once I got 50,000 points, I was officially able to beat the map Tuvong. Der Bunker. This map actually takes inspiration from Cold War's first map, Die Maschine. The map is set in Poland and takes place directly after the events of Die Maschine actually. But anyway, this map has a fun wonder weapon and a really good Easter egg, so let's beat this map. I started off by fucking some zombies for some early game cash. I figured if the zombies can touch me, then I can touch them. I then went down to the creepy basement and flipped 2 power switches to turn on the main power. I then had to collect 3 blue small fuses across the map. I then had to put them into this fuse box. This opened up a drawer with some dynamite in it, or as the Americans would say, some recreational devices. I then used that dynamite on this rock, which allowed me to go up this path. Once I got to the top of the path, I was given both the Wonder Fizz and this map's Pack-a-Punch. For the next step of the Easter egg, I had to collect these purple Cold War looking ass crystals. I then had to bring them back down the mountain and put them inside this bin. This step was fucking terrible, because whenever you picked up a crystal, it slowed you down and put particle effects on your screen. This causes the keycard to spawn on this map's roof. But now that I've gotten this, I decided it's time to take a break from this map's main Easter egg and get this map's official wonder weapon. First, I have to collect 4 different books scattered across the map. Once I collect all 4 books, I then put them on this bookshelf, which then opens up this ominous looking room. Inside is the Wonder Waffle. Back to the Easter egg. For the next step of the Easter egg, I had to use the keycard from earlier to open up 4 cabinets across the map to collect more dynamite. And at this point I am convinced that I am playing Terrorist Simulator on Roblox, because all I am doing on this map is blowing shit up. But anyways, after collecting all 4 pieces, I then placed each one on 4 different support beams. After placing all 4 pieces of dynamite, I am then teleported to the Dark Aether. Some really creepy ass voice that sounds just like the Forsaken from Cold War starts talking to me. The lockdown is actually extremely easy and only lasts like a minute. Once I get back to the main map, I have to call in an exfil. And now, for the last step of the Easter egg, I have to race my way up the hill and reach the top. This step is extremely difficult as there are tons of zombies and tons of hellhounds all trying to eat my ass. But once I finally do reach the top, I'm able to exfil and I get to experience the explosion of this facility. And like that, I have officially beaten the map Debunker. And now it's time for the rankings. First, Tuvong. Here are the 3 categories for this ranking. I'll be ranking each of them out of 5. Starting off with Easter egg. This map's Easter egg is extremely well developed and is actually very fun, so I'll be giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Next, atmosphere. This map's atmosphere is not on par with Shadows of Evil, but its atmosphere is still better than every single Cold War map, so for that I'll be giving it a 2.5 out of 5. And lastly, difficulty. This map is extremely easy. The only mini boss is the Mimic, and although they have a lot of health, they do the same amount of damage as a zombie. So for that, I'll be giving it a 2 out of 5. With that, I'll be giving this map a map total of 3 out of 5. Next, Debunker. Debunker's Easter egg is extremely easy and extremely short, so for that, I'll be giving it a 2 out of 5. Next, Atmosphere. This map's atmosphere is extremely good. It's much better than all of the Cold War maps, and honestly, looks amazing, so I'll be giving it a 3 out of 5. And lastly, difficulty. This map is extremely easy, with only hellhounds and zombies, so for that, I'll be giving it a 2 out of 5. And now, for Debunker's overall ranking, I'll be giving it a 2.5 out of 5. And now, if you have more than 2 brain cells, you should know that the winner is Tuvong. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and I'll see you next time. This shit took way too long to make.